In a video that I uploaded last week discussing some of the differences between Illustrator and Inkscape, one of the items that I pointed out was that in Inkscape you don't have the ability to generate charts and graphs like you can in Illustrator. But it turns out I spoke too soon on that one. As a commenter pointed out, there is an extension in Inkscape that allows you to do this, and although it is pretty rudimentary, it does work well enough. So let's go over how to use this extension. I'm going to open up a new document. And to access this extension, we're going to come up here to where it says Extensions. We're going to go down to Render. And the item we're looking for is NiceCharts. And in this menu, if you come over here to where it says Data, you can see we have two different types of data that we can input. We can choose data from a file. I haven't tried this myself, but apparently you can import data from a CSV file if you'd like. And then over here we have direct input, which is what we're going to be focusing on for this lesson. Now this is where things get a little complicated. If you come down here to this text input box, you'll see this is how we go about adding items to our chart. So every item that you add has to have a name here like I've done. I've written in sample item, and then add a colon and then the number representing the percentage of that chart, and then add a comma separating it from the next item. So it's kind of like writing code here. You're going to have to write this for each one of the items that you want in your chart. And if you're using the percentage pie chart like I'm using, you're going to want to make sure that these numbers add up to 100. So I'm going to move this menu off to the side, and I'm going to tick the live preview box. And it's going to show you a preview of what gets generated here. So if I come down here to the chart type dropdown, you can see we have 4 different types of charts that we can choose from. If I choose bar chart, we get something like this right here. If I choose pie chart, we get the regular pie chart. If we choose pie chart percentage, it gives you the same pie chart but with the numbers having a percentage symbol after them. And then finally we have stacked bar chart down here, which looks like that. So I'm going to go back to pie chart percentage. And if you come over here to the labels tab, we have some options that we can work with. You can change the font if you'd like, you can change the font size, and you can change the font color. Now the problem with using this menu is that if you want to change the color, you're going to have to manually type in the hex code. And if you want to change the font, you'll have to manually type in the font name here. So maybe this menu isn't the best way to go about doing this. Once you're finished generating the chart, you can go and do all of that retroactively using the text tool in the fill and stroke menu. So that's probably a much easier way to do that. So I'm going to ignore this part of the menu. And I'll come over here to the Charts tab. And if you notice, we have some more options that we can work with. More specifically, we have the color scheme that we can change. If I click on this drop down right here, I can choose a blue color scheme, which looks like that. I can choose gray, which looks like that. And then we have contrast, and then we have SAP. So that's what those options look like. I'm going to set this back to default. Again, this would probably be easier to change after we generate the chart. So I'm going to leave that as it is for now. And then over here, we can add or remove a drop shadow. So this is what it looks like with the drop shadow added beneath the chart. If I deselect that, we just have a flat chart, as you can see there. And then finally, I'll come over here to the Values tab. Now the values represent the numbers after the item name. So if you don't want those numbers being displayed there, you can just untick that box and then those values would be removed. So I'm going to put them back on there. And once you're finished, you can just click the Apply button and then close out of the menu. And now you have a pie chart that you can work with. And you can click on these items individually and change their colors like any other vector object, as you see me doing here. And if you want to change the font of the text, you just grab your text tool. If you could find it, I'm just going to press the letter T on the keyboard to access it. And you could just triple click your text to select it and choose a new font using the text menu if you'd like. So that's how you can go about generating charts and graphs using the NiceCharts extension in Inkscape. If you found this lesson useful, then consider checking out my Inkscape Masterclass. It's a collection of over 60 videos where I go over all of the tools and features in Inkscape, and I explain what they are and demonstrate how they work. Kind of like how I did in this video. We even have a private community where you can ask questions and get help from me anytime you want. And best of all, there's no monthly membership fees. You just pay $17 one time and you're in for life. I'll have some information about that down below if you want to check that out. As always, thanks for watching.